Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
Bounty Hunter.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I speak for the trees.
Vengeful spirit.
Dire team pick.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Manila Major. I can never say that right. Dear God. Manila Major American Qualifiers. I'm clearly very tired after a 16-hour shift, and we've got more great NA Dota action for you. It's EverNovaS versus Digital Chaos, one of the closest series we'll see to date after game number 1, with a rousing 23-minute victory coming out for Digital Chaos. A lot of fun plays coming in from both sides, close battles back and forth. Ben, what'd you think about game number 1?
What close? 23 minutes?
Something like that. I don't know, dude.
Well, let's hope they don't get stopped again.
Yes.
They need to put up more of a fight.
I think the telltale sign of how their mentality is comes down to, who was it? You are dropping his shreds at the end of the game before they GG'd out. That was not a good sign for EverNovaS.
Just a forfeit.
They have lost 5 games in a row, all 5 games they've played here, which is real sad because I like this team. They have a lot of good players, some friends of mine, and they're very, very talented individually.
There was no all chat. There was no bad manner.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. There wasn't. Well,
draft.
DC is European, so I mean, I don't really expect to see.
Well, why would
too
they
much all
bad
chat.
manner? They're already bad mannering by owning them so badly.
Is that really bad manner just to play the best they possibly can?
I mean, I guess you could have bought an armlet, and that would have been bad manner.
You're talking about the Bane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would been that's the epitome of bad manner, which is something I don't think you're that well versed in. Whenever I think of Ben Merliniwu, I don't think of a BM player. So I don't know, man.
I don't think Fountain Camping's BM. I don't really think.
No, you told me this before. You said your rationale behind is just GG out. If you don't want to get Fountain Camp, then just GG out.
Yeah.
At the time, I think I disagreed with you, but I definitely agree with you now.
It's hard to Fountain Camp. It's a challenge.
Yeah. I've seen games lost based on fountain camping, actually.
Yeah.
I actually have. I literally saw a game the other day where somebody was fountain camping and the slaughter brought back and killed the guy, and then it proceeded to throw a 25k net worth advantage over the course of an 85-minute game.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
It's like, okay, you have 30k net worth, but can you continue this and win after Fountain Camping with 30k net worth? That's the next level. People like challenges. That's why they play Dota.
Yeah. There's always that constant urge, just dive, keep going. You want to keep attaining that goal of killing as many heroes as possible. But for Digital Chaos, that was not their goal. Their goal was to play a solid game of Dota on the back of a bounty hunter roaming around with Soxa, Resolution playing the Tiny, getting a very early Blink Dagger, and Weehaw just farming literally nonstop and being involved in maybe 2 or 3 fights overall in the entirety of the game.
So this game seems to be a little bit different.
Yes.
Jimmy's team has picked up the Bounty Hunter in the first phase and banned out the Alchemist, and looks like Digital Chaos has gone for the bare bones of a sick push / 5-man / tower taking strategy.
Yes, absolutely. I think Invoker definitely adds on to that, especially if it's Quas Exort. So a lot of people have been asking me about Quas Wex. Is it something that's popular now again, or is it still Quas Exort? Because I feel like it's usually only Quas Exort.
I see more Quas Exort this patch than I did last patch.
Yes. I think at the beginning of the last patch it was a lot of Quas Wex. There was a bit of Quas Wex.
You know, EverNovaS did see it coming because they did ban out the DK and the Chen. When you see NP Venge, you think push. They have auras, they have summons, they have mobility, they have strong right click, which is exactly what you need for towers.
This feels kind of BM. Because,
not BM.
I mean, to you it doesn't, I know, but they beat them in such a way that they beat them last game just playing, I think, Sound Dota and getting a solid lead. Obviously, they did so with some mistakes from EverNovaS. They clearly are showing, for me it seems like, okay, we just want to get this game out of the way.
No, for me it's, other teams are going to be watching this because it's it's the majors. People are looking to beat DC, so they want to show that they have multiple banners.
So
They don't rely on the Alchemist, so maybe some teams won't ban out the Alchemist.
okay.
You want
You don't want to see him as you don't want to seem one
Radiant
dimensional.
team
definitely not. You want to mind game to other teams.
When
So-
you especially during the picks, obviously, is the biggest thing.
Of course.
During the draft.
You're like, we don't even need Alchemist. Sometimes teams leave Alchemist in the pool and they just might not even pick it.
Yes.
That's the mind game.
Yes.
So you're like, we don't even know what strategy they're going to run. And then if you win the draft, you can beat other teams that are similar skill to you.
Okay.
So
5
that's
seconds
where this
remaining.
is going. I'm pretty sure that Digital Chaos are in a position where they can be like, oh yeah, we can win with whatever strategy that we want to. But this is the one they're going for. Hey, we can win in 15 without Alchemist. We can win in 25 with Alchemist.
Isn't that kind of a gambit? If you lose with this strategy, it makes you seem more one-dimensional.
Are they going to lose with the strategy?
Probably not. No. I didn't think that Signature Trust, one of the top tier SEA teams, would lose to a Mongolian squad 2-0 when they needed to win one game to get to a tiebreaker. But that happened today. So
Let's just say it's unlikely that they lose with the strap, but even if they do, then they still have the gumption to pick it. In this game might not mean so much for them, but it's still important, right?
Yes.
So they're picking a strategy that, like, put yourself in Digital Chaos shoes. Would you pick a quote unquote weak strategy right now in a game that means a lot? Probably not.
no, definitely not.
You would pick a strong strategy. So this is a strong strategy.
I mean, Misery is not one to clown around either.
Yeah, you don't clown around.
You could
for
see maybe
qualifying.
Weehaw might clown around a little bit. Misery, no, absolutely not. So they're going to put their best effort into almost every game they
That
play.
is some sick anti-push.
Yes, they are going to have to deal with a multitude of de-pushing utensils in the terms of March of the Machines. You hit the wrong button.
Sorry,
I think.
I'm imagining them all with like swords and knives now, or forks and knives, because you said utensils. No, I'm gonna stab them as they come uphill with my knife.
You know what was funny? We had a Chinese game going on. It was an 85-minute tiebreaker, and they had the Tinker, and it was just it actually looked ridiculous because Perfect World was so screwed up. It's literally like a line instead of just how March is kind of sporadic and spread all over the place. It was literally just a line of machines, which I thought was interesting. But anyways, back to the draft and what you were talking about: D-push or not even D-push, but just kind of just stalling. I think
They need sustain. I think actually something like a keeper with a hood plus scepter would work for them. I don't think that's kind of in their repertoire though. But
What about Abaddon? What do you think about Abaddon?
Abaddon's okay, but there's all AoE damage. Veno, Sanking, Tinker, all heavy AoE magic. You want a pipe carrier, you want AoE heal. I think that Coddle would fit the bill best for me, although you can only push 50% of the time. That's still pretty good, I would say. Looks like they're going to go a different route. Spirit Breaker, excellent at killing Bounty Hunter, pretty decent at killing Faceless Void, very good at killing Tinker.
Yep.
And just looking to kill them so they won't even get the net worth to even defend
He's
the high
got
ground.
some sustain. He picks up an urn, and he can sustain people a little bit. I mean, come on.
You don't need sustain if you're 25,000. Actually, with resist lineup, you probably do.
I think, like, for an insurance policy and just for this particular team especially, yes, maybe. But I like the idea of a Spirit Brick for the exact reasons that you mentioned. I think if they want to get ahead, if they want to get that huge advantage they had in game number 1, they have... You got it. There you go. All right. Okay. Well, either way, EverNovaS is going to be having an interesting time. Waits is going to be playing the Venomancer, so does the Sport
10
Veno.
seconds
Slicks is playing the Sand King. Uar is playing the Tinker. Slicks played, I
5
believe, the Death
seconds
Prophet last
remaining.
game, but I feel like they're just going to switch things around here. Now, this is interesting, actually. Where are they sending everybody? I think Fluff is going to be playing probably the Offlane Void.
I don't think you can put Sanking in the mid lane.
I think he's going to go safe lane. I think he's going to get Stout Shield and 8 Tangos, and guess that's fine.
That's fine. Oh, where else would you put him?
I don't know. I have no idea.
He's fine versus Nature's Prophet. I think you can actually deal with the Treants fairly easily with Stout Shield. Although, generally, you want a Quelling Blade user as your melee hero to deal with the Treants, so you can just right-click them down very easily. But, if you want Thinking in your lineup and you don't want him to jungle him because you have a Bounty Hunter in your lineup, then it's an appropriate substitute.
I feel like I've asked you this recently, but what do you think about Caustic Finale? Maybe I haven't asked you.
It's alright.
In this matchup, in this lane.
I think it's okay in this lane. I actually, it's nice because you don't have that much mana. So Caustic Finale does a lot of damage without mana, which is pretty unusual for a caster type hero like Sand King.
Right.
And when you're in the safe lane, you generally don't have that much sustain. You're just limited to like maybe Arcane Boots. But I think you know, we might even see something different. We might even see like a Crimson Guard Sand King too, which is very good. Crimson Guard, an excellent pickup versus Drill Ranger, versus a lot of summons from NP as well as Invoker.
Do you get that like first, or you get it after a Blink Dagger or something?
You'll see it a lot on safe lane Sand Kings just because they want the sustain. Because if you go jungle, you don't need it because you're invisible most of the time. But if you're in a safe lane, you're constantly taking harass. You need some sort of sustain. Some people offer bottle, some people like Tranquil Souls, and some people like Vanguard.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Slicks is going to do. I'm interested to see if it... What... Let me go a little bit further and ask, what is your ideal skill build for the first 5 levels of Sand King? What do you skill up exactly in this lane?
Probably one... they need a way to catch him. Like, Venomancer is not the greatest setup. I think if they had a better setup for him, then you probably go 1-3-1. But because he doesn't, probably 3-1-1, I would say.
Okay.
3-1-1.
So you get that point in caustic regardless.
I think so, but he's not contested right now.
We'll wait and
it
see.
depends on how much he contests.
Yeah.
Slicks hasn't skilled up anything yet.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what he decides to go for here. The mid lane matchup, Sox is already going to be here early on. You are. This is an interesting matchup. I think you should probably do fine. But
Aura.
that's true. I completely forgot about Precision Aura coming out from the safe lane from the Resolution Drow Ranger. And also, Demon is going to be roaming in on the Bounty Hunter. We'll see if he can get as much done as Soxa did last game, which I'm not holding my breath. And that's nothing against Demon. We all know how good of a player Demon actually is. But Soxa, he got a little lucky. He got some help, and he was able to find plenty of kills and courier pickups. And Demon has a lot of work ahead of him in order to be able to actually provide that amount of utility.
But Demon just got scouted out by Misery. So that's never a good sign. You never want to be showing as your bounty hunter.
How did they see him? Did he just shadow walk in front of him?
I think so. I think he just popped out like at a very inopportune time.
Well, Resolution's gonna go. They have the sentry down. Wave of Terror's gonna fly, and they have the frost arrows.
I actually like the Wave of Terror first.
Ooh, mid lane, they're gonna go ahead for a gank. They already TP'd in Moo. They're actually gonna bring him down with the tornado. Yuar is gonna be first blood given up to Weeha. So wow, they TP'd in Nature's Prophet very early. But I guess when you have this type of aggressive lineup, that's not surprising to me.
And it's Quaswex. That's interesting, because I think they actually maybe want to take it a little bit later, because they see the amount of anti-push that EverNovaS has, so...
Oh, they dusted Demon. Demon does get the Invis rune, but he's still dusted. Charge it for the Soxa. They need maybe a TP in from the Furion, but it's on cooldown, obviously, for 18. Can he get this kill with Orb of Venom?
Nope.
Soxa's slowed by Orb of Venom as well, because Demon has it, so he can't chase him down. He already used his charge. And he has no mana for another one.
The Quaswex choice is very interesting, though, because you almost always want the Forge Spirits, so you can push with the Precision Aura. But I think they want to play it with Exort, so they fight outside of the base way more often than up EverNova's high ground. So still giving the opponent's team a lot of respect, not thinking that they can just brute force it with mass summons and superior push strat.
And so what's the item build on Quaswex? Because you often see, the Wraith Band into Aquila with Boots of Speed, Midas Drum.
Phase Orchid Midas.
Okay.
Is generally accepted as a pretty good build regardless of the situation.
Okay.
It's very good versus Void. Forces him to get Manta or Diffusal or BKB, which sometimes you don't want very early. Very good for Sand King. Very good at Tinker, and especially good at killing Venomancer, because you don't want him to get his ulti off before he dies.
If you get a silence on the Venomancer, he's usually dead because of just how squishy he is and how much damage you're laying into him. So that'll be something that they'll have to deal with. I imagine the Orchid is a good choice, and we'll probably see it coming out from Weeha. But for now, Moo's going to be heading over to the side camp hill. I think he maybe missed that last set. I think Demon got it from him. He snagged it in the end with the Shadow Walk attack. Meanwhile, roaming mid, charging in is going to be Misery. There's the Cold Snap TP, and they're rotating 4 heroes here for finding this kill. The Wave of Terror. This is going to be an easy one. They get off the March of Machines. Will do some damage to Soxa in the end, but Yuar goes down once more with no support, no backup, no TP rotation. It's not like they would have done anything in that situation.
They can't. So the best thing the supports could do is stack for him, so that he can catch up from this terrible laning phase. They can't save him in the mid lane. Venomancer, very poor at stopping a Spirit Breaker, and Bounty Hunter is too busy doing other things.
It's not like it's defensive support that can come in Grave or Aphotic or whatever.
It's much better to stack for him, and he can catch up, because he's not worth that much right now. He actually is still beating the Invoker, and he was beating the Invoker in CS just a moment ago.
Yeah. So Yuar, he got ganked twice. Rough, but not insurmountable. His other lanes are doing pretty well. The one lane that's not going well is bottom, as the Drow Ranger has 28 last hits, but that's to be expected considering who he's up against and with the Vengeful Spirit. That is a very potent combination of damage that you do not want to have to deal with.
Oh, they're pushing.
Yeah, here we go. This is a 4.5 minute push. This feels fast, even for a push strategy, I feel like. Now mid, looks like Weeha was getting jumped on. He has to throw up the Tornado and NP to zone them all back and say, listen, you're not going for me.
Another benefit about the Quas Wex Invoker is that it's extremely difficult to gank
Yep.
if his tornado's off cooldown. Even then, like, you're super fast with the Ghost Walk.
Yes, and you have to carry detection, obviously.
Yep. No Basilius on the bottom lane, but they'll will make quick work of the tower as Bluff has kind of ditched for the Iron Talon build. But now the camp is going to be slightly more difficult for him to take.
Yeah, and it's not like he can head to the jungle because we see that the stacks are already piling up here. You can see the one at the hard camp. The Tigger wants to probably take the other stack or the other camps as well. They have stacked up that one hard camp. But well, DC are just going to continue this pressure. They're like, why not? They're not contesting. They don't have level 6 on any of their heroes yet, really, at all. So they can't throw out a Chronosphere to stop this and look for a fight. Demon can't really do anything. He's level 3 and he's an Orb of Venom and he's already kind of low in HP and no mana. So they're just going to take 2 towers out of this.
Yep, that's like 2,500 gold for everyone. Why not?
This chart's gonna go up pretty quickly. 3,000. Yeah, I mean, you talked about being under that 1,000 gold per minute mark for net worth. They are under that, so at least that's going a little their way for EverNovaS, but that's really not a good start for them.
It'll reach that mark if Tinker gets a stack stolen and doesn't get his bots. That is the most crucial thing for EverNovaS right now. They cannot let that stack get stolen by Radiant. And NP already seeping in, making a maneuver onto the charged Yawar.
Yeah, Yawar, he may get that stack later, but he's getting charged Tornado EMP'd right now. And he'll, I think, probably go down here. Yes, absolutely. They charge through. Demon was nearby. They even had the Venomancer throw out the Venomous Scale. They rotate everybody. The Bro Strike only hits on a 1, though. They get the Chronosphere off, but Demon, of course, outside of it. They have way too right-clicking. Weehaw may fall here. The Sprout up on the Bluff and stuff. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange at the end. Magic Missile on his flicks. No more Sandstorm. He's out of mana for Burrow Strike, but he's going to be able to back away just fine. Have to force everyone to rotate, and again, while this is all happening down bottom, Resolution continues to just get free farm and up to 44 CS.
Thinking perhaps being a little bit greedy in his build, not going for Arcanes. I think if he had Arcanes, you could center from outside, and that Chrono would have looked a lot more awesome. Useful. Yeah. They did get the Invoker kill. They probably would have gotten it anyways.
Yeah.
But you could have done a lot of damage to the back lines with the Epicenter and just stun into the Chronosphere.
He gets it now. He realizes the errors of his ways.
Yeah, he needed mana for that fight. Soul Ring's okay too, because you're safe lane, so...
And you can turn it into an Aether. The Arcade is good because you turn it into an Aether Lens later.
Yes.
Which is pretty powerful if you want to go that route, which generally when you pick up the Arcanes, I think you will do. But push commences and continues as Mu has rotated back towards mid, unsurprisingly. Doing all of this with just a level 1 TP, but the cooldown only 50 seconds, even at its first level.
But now they see that the Sand King has Arcane, so they know that the dagger's not coming for a bit. So that, you know, it's kind of a downside. If he buys it earlier, you're not sure about his blink time. But because he buys it now, you know it's not coming for a little bit.
So you kind of just have to worry about the Chronosphere.
Well, here they go.
They're going for the kill on Slicks. He's going to get caught. He's going to use his, at least, his Sandstorm, but Blake decided to dive this. They won't go into the tree line. I think they might have gotten that kill, even with Way 2 being there. They would have taken some tower hits. It might have hurt, but they probably would have gotten the kill.
They didn't have wave. If he had wave up, they would have go in. But you can't go in there. He could be channeling Epic. You don't know.
Right. Good point.
So it's a good maneuver by them to not take that risk. You don't want to give up kills when you're ahead.
And this, I mean, while that's happening, you know, they're putting pressure on top, and with just 2 heroes, they get another tower, another tier 2 in the mid lane. So this net worth is going to continue to climb and climb and climb. It's at 5,000 now. I'm surprised it's not higher at this point, but...
Yawar's trying to do the stack, but he is up against 2 mini Hellbears. So we're talking about 40% magic resistance, and they have the Satyr, so he's going to heal up the camp.
Satyr will die, at least.
But he's not getting the gold. If Slicks takes this, how's Tinker going to get his BO2?
I think they're really more... They're like, we need a way to actually initiate into these people. A Blink Dagger is going to be much... Listen, you can farm later. Right now, we need to get our priorities straight. Unfortunately, Weehaw is invis, and probably going to help set up a kill here. Yeah, there's the Tornado EMP. He's probably going to just do it on his own with Cold Snap. In fact, he is. Mu comes in. He's looking for more. Sprout, Way 2 still charged up. And it looks like he will make it out just barely. The charge was not successful. While that was happening, Misery was pushing the tower alone. But, so even when he was trying to go for that stack, Slicks gets caught out. So that was really smart from DC to realize that the timing was coming where they need to take that stack. They know that that stack is a priority. They understand that the stack exists.
They know that's the only way that Tinker gets back in the game.
Right.
Right now he's broke. Look at his net worth. Look at his items.
He is a glorified support at this point. Hybrid. He's a hybrid. Yes, he's a hybrid. Exactly. Ben, you took the words right out of my mouth. Okay, hybrid indeed.
He's just poor.
Yeah, welfare. Yada yada. Joker has picked up a Staff of Wizardry, interestingly enough.
But all it takes is one kill on a rich core and he has BOTs.
Like last game where they got 4K from picking up 2. That is not going to be easy, given the heroes they have. I mean, it comes down to Chronosphere, I think, and an Epicenter on top of it, like you had discussed previously.
And Double March.
Double March would be helpful,
Venom
too.
ulti, but still, they need... Okay, let's see. Way2, he's heading back to base. Does he buy the Tome of Knowledge? Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
all right, wait to get that level 6, baby.
He knows what's up.
It's
how they win the fight.
425, right?
It's close enough.
Yeah, I guess it is. He just needs like one. He goes out to get that like one creep.
Are they giving it to Tinker? Oh man, they're in dire straits when you have to give that to your mid laner.
Wait, he's like, he's crying. He's like, I could have had level 6 off of that. We're close to it.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
The look on your face, that's the story of this game. Sheer despair when you know that you're that far behind that you have to give your Tome of Knowledge to your Tinker.
Wow.
Good news, Fluff has a Blink Dagger.
How does Fluff keep managing to get these Blink there?
Like he had it last game too, seemingly out of nowhere. Fluff, good offlane player somewhere.
0 deaths.
In all of my time of casting Dota 2, I've never seen Fluff play offlane, so this is a nice change of pace for me. I don't know, you've been playing Dota for much longer than I have. You've probably known Fluff for longer than I have.
Have I seen him play offlane? No.
Okay.
But if you can play support, you could probably play offlane because they're similarly difficult, although one's way more farm oriented.
Well,
I think if you can play support, you can pretty much play everything. If you're a good support player, you should be able to play every role.
I think that's been shown by a couple of players.
Yeah.
AUI in particular.
And it does not work vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. Well, AUI started as carry, I think, kind of.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was one of the... That was something we were talking about the other day on the couch, actually, was carries that have transitioned to 4-position or 5-position support and have actually been successful at it.
It's hard.
You
It's
can't
not
really
fear
call
they go.
fear. You can't call fear that, but I mean, they're gonna get a Roche kill, and smoke is up. Slicks is waiting in the winds, and Demon, of course, is gonna put up a track. But there's an observer ward. They'll scout out the fact that everyone's probably there. Moo says, "Let's get out of here. I'm gonna TP top. See y'all later."
You know, this decision for him not to buy Arcanes has actually really hurt him because he is 400 gold short of a blink. I think that's what they're waiting for when they wanted to go in a pit. They're like,
Well, he might get it here.
he might get it here.
You probably just chrono this, almost, yeah. You channel Epi? Yes, you do. And then you go with the Burrow Strike. He does have Aegis. That is the big problem. If they get Misery, maybe that's something. They have track on both of them. They really can't fight into Resolution. He's just going to pump out damage. That's just... Oh, the TP comes in for Misery. Even if they get that kill like you talked about, he has Aegis. That had slipped my mind completely. And Slicks will go back in with the Burrow. They have another Shuriken. And he's actually one right click from death. He'll finally go down, but it's going to be at the cost of 2 heroes for ENS. That's not really a great trade. Demon is moving fast track, but the Urn Charge will take him down from Weeha, who's already picked up some Midas a minute or 2 ago. Now has his full 4-staff coming out as well. That's an Aegis for 3 heroes, by the way.
The new Dragon Lance is amazing on Drow Ranger.
The double band of Elven Skin?
Yep.
Yeah, that's huge.
15 agility.
Because it means you don't have to go for that triple Wraith Band kind of build anymore that some people used to, or whatever it was.
You know, you actually outrange towers too. Tower range is 700. He hits with 755 range.
Yeah,
I figured this out the other day. It's amazing.
Do you just stay? I mean, do you move into that Hurricane Pike as a luxury item later? I'm assuming you do if you have enough money, but
Depends.
yeah. Also helps because he's not getting hit by March too. They could literally have him be the one hitting the racks and it would probably be fine. Buff's gonna come in time dilation. They mech up just to make sure they're all topped off as they thought the fight might have been breaking out, even if it was. I don't think there's really anything ENS can do. There's a level 6 for Venomancer, but he doesn't skill up his ultimate. I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Not good.
Okay, well. They are now completely, every single one of ENS is below that of DC, including the Sand King himself and the Fluff, the Blink Dagger. Dust will go, Swap Back's not there, but the Tornado will clip Slicks, and Way2 will narrowly avoid it. But
Still, it goes back to the time he didn't buy Arcane. If he gets Arcane, he gets another kill in mid, he'd have his Blink Dagger 5 minutes ago, and he'd be on his way to Veil or whatever he wants to push high ground. But now, because he didn't, he's stuck at 1900 gold. They need items. They need BOTs on the Tinker. They need Blink Dagger on Sand King, but it's gonna come way too late. They've already lost a melee racks.
yeah.
And
He still doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's the really sad
Just
thing in this.
the net worth chart, and Ben, look at the net worth graph as well, and just I've seen this graph before. It's
Yeah,
roughly the same.
they did not hit the benchmark that I wanted them to.
They certainly did not hit the benchmark. They have too many hybrids on their team, sadly.
You gotta set goals for yourself in these sort of games, man.
They
You know
didn't.
you're outmatched. You know.
They did not reach their goals. They didn't dream big enough, or I don't know. Something just happened, and it wasn't great. The game's not over, but by the way, this is the
Resolution gets jumped on by Demon. Demon just trying to be cheeky, but almost pays for his crime.
Demon stays there a half second longer. He's probably
That's
dead.
a Jimmy play.
That is what I would clarify as a Jimmy play 100%. That's what you came here for, Ben. That's what you came to see.
I saw one. I'm happy.
Yeah, the illusion play, not a Jimmy enough play for you. Back with the Bane in the first game, but play. So this has to be by far one of the least closest 7-1 games I've ever seen.
It's a draw strat though. Draw strats peak off probably
5-10 minutes from now, maybe.
a little bit later.
Okay,
I would say 30.
that's fair. By the way, Weehaw picked for Hurricane Pike. Maybe he's being cheeky now than an actual build. I mean, you're not really a right-click hero. It's obviously... Force Staff's not a bad item, I think, for the Invoker. There are other items you could have gone for, like Orchid, like you had mentioned, which I think would have been probably the... I don't want to say the correct choice, because it's Weehaw playing the Invoker, not me, but
Hurricane Pike is better for sieging tower.
Dire's top tower is under
I think that's
attack.
fair.
He has 730 attack range, and then you see Draw Ranger with 755. These two heroes can right-click the tower.
So really, it's all about objectives for them at this point.
They want to end the game.
Yeah, I can... Yeah, well... if they decide to maybe wait for the next Roche, or if they just want to get their next item, they won't have any trouble in doing so, I don't believe. Unless there is a... Like we talked about earlier, Epicenter, Chronosphere on top. Well, Chronosphere first, Epicenter on top, Poison Nova, which he doesn't have skilled up yet. Double March.
Into track kill.
And just like 3 track Shuriken toss bounces.
It's not that far-fetched if they play poorly, but as long as they play safe, buy a pipe, a Roche, buy a gem, you know, these sort of things that will help you win the game. That's cool.
The problem is they're getting completely choked out. There's absolutely nowhere for them to farm. Look at where they're all positioned.
Farm
Finally,
heroes,
it's
man.
Point Dagger. Yeah, you can farm heroes with what items? It comes down to that hypothetical situation where they get all of those abilities off at the same time and kill everybody, or at least maybe 3 would be nice. If they kill 3 people, I guarantee you they get more than 75 net worth out of it, and they lose nothing. That's... I want to call it an impossibility, but I'm an optimist, so I don't know what I'll call it. Really difficult.
Dragon Pike is nice because it gives you Hurricane Pike is nice because it gives you AP as well. HP means you don't die.
That's true.
You
It
don't
does
get
give you
a lot of
10 strength, or 15 strength actually.
Fluff and stuff.
Yeah,
Gets
he's in
Hurricane
trouble.
Pike.
Yeah, he's been Hurricane Pike. Wow, he cold snap into Hurricane Pike. Formidable opponent with Moo helping out as well with decent right click with
Yeah,
Phase
it's actually
Drum.
pretty good versus Void. Although Orchid's also really
Did
good
he?
versus Void.
He didn't even time walk there, I don't believe either. I mean, he couldn't really. He kind of just accepted his fate at that
No, he
point.
time walked first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they have a hood. Okay, yeah. If they get a hood into a pipe, I'm pretty sure they won. Sucks just bought one, so he knows what's up.
Rip March the Machines being useful at any point in time.
Oh, and Poison Sting, and Poison Nova, and Veil, and Tanking Ultimate. All their damage is magic.
Structures are fortified.
ENS are holding on for, well, I don't want to say they're holding on for dear life, but they're watching their powers go down.
Oh, they're even split seizing. Even if they get chronoed, they get 2 max at point. DC are playing pretty well.
And there's going to be the Hurricane Pike away, and Weehaw, he might be in some trouble here. They get the Chrono off. Can they kill? Actually have Zaksa doing some serious work on the Sand King. Weehaw is still somehow alive. They drop the sentry down. They want vision. They get the kill. It's a Pyrrhic victory. They've lost their mid-racks. I don't think they care. I think they really only care about killing Weehaw at this point in time. Sometimes that's kind of you have to have goals, Ben. You have to have goals, and in this situation, killing Weehaw was their goal.
Well, it wasn't the kill we hot in a GG hour. Sometimes that happens too when you're really
God,
behind.
this is so frustrating because EverNovaS, I feel like they're so talented. They're just having such a rough time in this situation. DC has been playing on point this entire tournament after a lot of doubters, including myself, came through. DC are... They've megaed them at 19 minutes in. Demon's gonna go ahead
There's
and give
the
him
all chat.
the XC.
Jimmy moment.
And
Woo!
yep, McRats, the GG.
We
He
got,
had to get it out there. We
I got 2 Jimmy
Jimmy
moments.
moments. Congratulations.
I'm pretty happy. It made up
And-
for 0 in game number 1.
The award to see before the game actually ends. We've seen that a lot in this turn. So. Well,
Radiant structures are
I don't foresee this team staying together for that much longer. I hope they do, but I don't foresee it happening.
I didn't think they were going to stay together before the qualifiers, but
Wow.
I mean,
You have.
that's not.
You are a realist.
No, that's not. I didn't mean it. That's not any flame. That's not what I meant to say. I didn't see
It
this
is
team
what you
coming.
meant to say.
I
It's
didn't
not what
see
you-
this team coming together before the qualifiers. This group of individuals, this group of players coming together. So it's hard for me to imagine they're going to stay together going further, especially with the results they've seen. Did I clarify that enough for you?
That was good.
Okay? Thank
Look
you.
at that GPO on Dyer. Win as a team, lose as a team.